Good evening and welcome to True Dugman Encounters. I'm your host, Marvin Allen. If you or anybody that you've known have had a sighting or encounter and would like for me to share it on my channel, then please contact me. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and share. As you all know, I'm still going to do those 3 cryptid encounters tomorrow, but I decide to do something tonight for y'all. Another thing, like I was telling y'all, as far as we doing different things, I've been looking at some missing 411 cases. And I was looking at one yesterday about Tom Messick and the way he just disappeared or vanished. Now, a researcher, who I won't say his name, had started researching this case. And he had talked it to one person. And he asked the person, he said, well, what do you think happened to Tom? He said, I believe Tom was never there, period. 10 years prior to that, he said his brother disappeared the same way. So he heard. But there are other people that disappeared the same way that Tom did. No trace, no clothing, no backpack, no radio, no gun, no nothing, no DNA, nothing. They didn't find anything. And the thing that get me and the thing that puzzles me is, how do somebody disappear and you never find them? It's like they never existed. And another thing about this Tom Messick case, 2 FBI agents showed up. And you know, the only time they really show up, if it's a missing kid or if it's one of their own, not somebody that's older. And I was just sitting there puzzled, thinking to myself, is it something that they know, or is it something they think they know? That just had me puzzled right there, you know. But they did tell the family that this was really strange. The way this 82-year-old just upped and vanished. He partially blind in one eye, and he can't hear in one ear. So he not gonna walk but so far, because he only walked like 100 yards in and sat down as the lookout spot. But when it was time for all them to go, no Tom. He never let off the 3 shots, which is recommended when something like this happened. He never radioed anyone. He never did none of those things. So what really happened to Tom? Like so many other people that go missing in our national forests each and every year. It's mind-boggling, you know. And I want to start doing things like that, you know, along with talking about cryptids, paranormal, and all that stuff like that. So we're going, like I said, every live stream we do, it's going to be a different topic, you know. And I want to cover some of these missing 411 cases and see what we can come up with. Because what are really taking them? What are really happening to some of these people that go missing? Are they going through portals? Are they being abducted? Or are these cryptids snatching them? And I can't blame this on no cryptid. Dugman, Goatman, Rake, Bigfoot. I can't blame it on them. Because don't nobody have a shred of proof that's saying a cryptid took this person. Don't nobody have no proof. And if they do, bring it forth and show it to us. And then we can come to a conclusion of what is taking these people. But until then, hey, we don't know. But I do think that should nobody disappear and never be found. We got some great eyewitnesses coming up that's going to be on the show. Like I said, we're going to talk about a different topic each time we go on air. And some days we're going to have call-ins. Some days I might have a PAC member be my co-host. So get ready for that because it's coming. Anonymity means a lot. And I breaks that for no one. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this encounter. Now, this encounter right here, it comes from an eyewitness who is still bothered, still having nightmares, but was kind enough to share his sighting with me. So let's go. My eyewitness said that he had a best friend that he grew up with. And they used to always do things together. Hunt, fish, all type of stuff. So one day, he asked his friend, did he want to go camping for a few days? So his friend said, sure, we can do that. So they picked a day. They got all their gear and everything together. And they set out to go find a nice spot. Now, mind you, where they went at is not too far from where my eyewitness stay at. So they get down there. They go through the path, through the trail, through the wood line. And they go not deep in, but they go in deep enough. And they find this clearing, this open space, this clearing. So he told his friend, we're going to set up, camp right here. So they did that. Set up their tents and stuff. And then they sat around and they started to talk. Now around this time, it's mid-afternoon. And during that time, he said the sun was about to go down. So they sitting there and they talking, talking about the old days, talking about when they went to school and everything like that. So he said at around about 7 o'clock, he started to hear something rustling in the bushes. So he looked at his friend and he said, did you hear that? He said, yeah, I heard. What is it? He said, I don't know, but be quiet. So they sat there and they listened again. A few more seconds would pass and they would hear that sound again. This time, my eyewitness says he turns around and he looks. When he looked, he could just see that something had backed up into those bushes and back into the wood line. So his friend said, what was it? What was it? He said, I don't know. Maybe it was a squirrel or something, raccoon. So they using everything possible to say what this was. So they sit around and they talk some more. So at around 11:30, they said they was going to call it a night so they can get up early tomorrow and start their day. So they goes in the tent and they lay down. And while they laying down, my eyewitness said he started to hear these funny sounds, but he didn't know what it was. He said he started to hear this funny sound. And he said it sounded like whatever was making this noise, it was more than one. So he sets up and he gets up, grabs the flashlight, and he goes outside the tent. His friend follows him and he stands up. He looks, shine his light around, but he don't see nothing. He said he walked about 10 paces and stopped and began to shine his light. He said as he was shining his light, he gets this awful smell that he can't describe. It's like it's combined with so many things, he said. Urine, rotten meat, blood, all type of stuff. He said it was so strong that it almost made him gag. So he's shining his light and he don't see nothing. So just when they turned around to go back inside the tent, he hear crack, crack. He hurry up and he shines the light again. He walks up even closer to where it was at and he points the light inside the tree line, left to right. He go to his left, then he goes slow over towards his right. When he going over towards his right, he catch these yellow glowing eyes. But soon as the light hit it, he said this thing just took off. And he said, he said, man, I don't know what that was. All I know, I just seen some big yellow eyes. That's what he telling his friend what he saw. So they go in the tent. They lay down. They don't hear nothing else that night. The next day, they get up. They fix them breakfast, drink some coffee, and they decide to go for a walk. So they found a trail, and they walked this trail. And as they walking, They could hear wildlife, all type of animals that's out there and insects. So they walking and they walking. And then all of a sudden, my eyewitness said, he stopped. He said he stopped. And then his friend said, what's wrong? Why you stop? He said, shh, be quiet. Listen. So as he stopped and he stood there and they listened, the noise, everything that they heard became silent. You couldn't hear nothing. Not a bird, not a cricket, nothing. So he looked around, to his left, to his right, to his left, to his right. So his friend said, let's just go back. He said, yeah, I think we should. So he said they turned around and they began to walk back to the area. He said, and as they walking, they could hear something else walking behind them. But they would turn around and they don't see nothing. My witness said it did this until they left out of the tree line and got right back there at their campsite. When they get to their campsite, they could see that the chairs that they were sitting in was broken. Like something just ripped them apart. My witness said, what the hell? Who would do that? And he yelled out, said, I hope ain't nobody out there playing games like that and it's not funny. So he said, time had passed. He forgot all about that. He said later on that day, they were standing just by their tent. And as they standing there talking, my witness said he hear that sound again. So he walks towards that tree line. And when he get right there at the tree line, he look. And when he look, he know it's something behind this bush, but he don't know what. As he's looking, all he see is something just take off. Just take off and run to his right on all fours. So he asked his friend, he said, did you see that? Did you see what I just seen? He said, I seen something, but it was just like a blur. He said it just moved so fast. So he walked back down and he stood at the tent. He said hours would pass. And he said it was like a full moon out that night. He said it was out where you could see it was lit up quite a bit. So he said they were standing out there talking. Then they hear what sound like, and these is his words. He said he hear what sound like a female. Like a female in pain. Like a female that's hurt. So he said, you hear that? Oh my God. So he walked. He walked back to the beginning of that tree line. And he looked. And when he looked up into the tree line, he see this black silhouette standing right there on this path. He said, and as he watching this, it starts to walk towards him, and it stopped. And when it stopped, he could see this thing now. This massive creature standing there with the gigantic wolf head, snarling, showing his teeth, pointed ears, massive shoulders, long arms with hands and canine legs. He just stand there, snarling and growling at my eyewitness. He began to take steps back. And as he taking steps back, this creature began to growl even louder. That my eyewitness said he could feel it resonate through his body. So he stopped. That's when he said the creature began to walk again. And it walked. And it stopped. It stopped about 5 or 10 feet from that tree line. And it just stood there, looking at him, baring his teeth, still snarling at him. My witness said he was froze. He was scared. He didn't know what to do. Now, mind you, his friend is still standing back there by the tent. Scared, froze, can't do nothing. They didn't bring no weapons outside of a knife. So my eyewitness said he's standing there and he watched this creature. And as he's standing there watching this creature, he hears something off to his left. He said he don't turn his head and look. He looks out his peripheral vision. Looks out the corner of his eyes. And he looked. And when he looked that way, he sees a raccoon. But the raccoon is just sitting there, froze. So the creature began to sniff. It starts to sniff the air. And then it turned his head in that direction. And it dropped down to all fours and began to walk towards this raccoon. As it's walking, the raccoon began to run. This creature takes off, catches it. He said this thing made an awful cry, like it was crying out for help. But it was nothing he could do. He said this creature put this raccoon in his mouth. It grabbed it and it walked away. After my eyewitness couldn't see it no more, he went back to the tent. He told his friend that they need to leave. They need to get out here now. He said, but it was late, and they was going to hold out to the next day. So they in the tent. They sitting up, and they talking. My witness said at about 2 o'clock in the morning, he could hear doom, 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 doom. He heard heavy footsteps. Doom, 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 doom. Heavy footsteps. And he told his friend, he said, oh this thing is coming back again. And as they sat there silent, they could hear something just behind them. Breathing. Heavy. He said, it was breathing heavy. My witness told his friend, don't look back. He said that's when this creature starts to walk around the tent. And it stopped right in the front of their tent. And it stood there. And as it was standing there, it would hit the tent. Boom, 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 boom. It would hit the tent. After a few minutes, this creature dropped down to all fours. And when it dropped down to all fours, it started to sniff. And it's sniffing hard. Now, mind you, they had cooked earlier that day. So my eyewitness said, when this creature started to sniff, he must smell what they cooked earlier. So it turned and it walked over to where they had this bag that they threw, the leftovers in and stuff like that in. And they could hear this creature going through it like it was looking for something to eat. Like it was hungry. So they just sat there and they listened. After about a minute, they could hear this creature walking away. Because the sounds would start out loud and then they would just fade away. Like boom, 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 boom. So they still sat there because they wanted to make sure that this thing was gone. My witness said he zipped down the tent a little bit. And he looked. He didn't see nothing. Zipped it all the way down. They got out and they looked around. No sign of this creature. Nowhere. So they stood outside. for about 2.5 hours. Now, he said it's almost 5. And he know it's going to be daybreak real soon. He said as they were standing there waiting for daybreak, they hear that awful cry again. My witness said they so scared, man. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have no weapons. And that's something they always used to carry. A weapon. He said he never seen nothing like this in his life. He said he was at the mercy of this creature. It could have did anything that it wanted to him. It could have killed him. It could have wounded them, both of them. But it didn't. And he asked that question, why? Why? Are they bad or are they evil? And I was telling him, they're both just like humans. He said he's still having nightmares to this day. He still wake up in cold sweats. He still can't talk to nobody else because they're not going to believe him. When it comes to these creatures, you can't bargain. You can't ask for a pass. You can't ask them, let me take a picture of you. You can't ask them, let me hold your baby. These creatures are intelligent. They smart. They know what they're doing when they do it. They know how to conceal themselves so won't no one see them. These creatures are masters of the woods, masters of the woodline. And I tell everyone, you don't really want to see one of these things. You just saying that because you can talk. My witness said that this creature had to stand at least 7 feet tall. Bright yellow eyes. A humongous head. Massive shoulders. Bulging chest. Long arms with hands. Canine legs. Pointed ears. I asked him, did it have a tail? He said, no, it didn't have a tail. He said, but this thing is the top predator. He said from what he's seen. These creatures are not a pet. They're not a toy. So don't go looking for something because you might see something that you're going to regret. And that was his encounter. I hope y'all like it. So if I have time, get ready. Because I might just hit you with another true Dugman encounter. Let's get it.